Hello, we are Group 21. We're Samantha, Adrian, and Javier. And these are the topics that we're going to go through. Samantha is going to continue.
Okay, for the update on our front end deployment. So our front end deployment worked. However, when you went to the URL for the website, instead of seeing a website, you saw this error message. You do not have permission to view this directory or page. And we worked quite a bit to correct the error, did a lot of researching, but despite all of our efforts, we could not correct the issue. However, it may be too late for our project, but we would like to state that we've corrected the issue, and it might be helpful for students in the future with their cloud deployment in Azure and using Vue or any type of language. So as you can see, on the left side, we have our local files from our front-end application. And on the right-hand side, we have our files from the cloud deployment. And there is an extra directory here called dist. And we noticed that. And after some more research, we determined that we need to make some changes in our web app configuration on Microsoft Azure. So in order to change this configuration, you go to your Microsoft Azure account, you go to the app service that needs to have the configuration change and select configuration. The next step is to go to the path mapping under configuration and select the path mapping. Under that path mapping, you have to scroll down until you get to virtual applications and directories. And you can see here that the site physical path is at the site root. And what we need to do is update that to make it the physical path go to the dist directory. So you click on edit and this box will show up, and then you have to change the physical path and add the dist directory. And once you've updated that, your corrected configuration will look like this. And then you can proceed to the website and see the actual website instead of the message. And that will be shown later on in this presentation. The next thing I'm going to discuss is how we set up our continual integration and continual deployment. So first, in order to create your YAML file for the continuous integration, continuous deployment, you need to go to your Microsoft Azure cloud account again and go to your app service. And these following steps need to be repeated for each of your app services. And we have 3. So you go to the app service, and under overview, you select get published profile, and that will download the published profile for that particular application. Next, you go to the GitHub repository, and you go to settings. And under settings, you select under secrets actions, and then new repository secret. And in new repository secret, you create a name for your published profile, which I just created published profile. And then you copy and paste the published profile contents into this value field here, and then add secret. Then the next step is to go to actions in GitHub to create the action, select new workflow, and then you'll be presented with a list of different types of actions. And for the microservices, we created a action to configure to build and deploy a .NET Core project for Azure web app. And for the Vue, we actually manually created that based on research. And this is what the GitHub action YAML file will look like. We did make some small changes to it ourselves. See, as you can see here, the first step is that it checks out and set up the .NET Core with the version that we have indicated for it to create. Then it installs the dependencies and builds the application. On publish, what publishing does, it creates a set of files that are needed to run the application, and then it downloads the artifacts from the build job to set the application, to copy the application to the target machine. And in here, this is where you indicate that the publish profile for the application to get it from your secret. And that's it for the CI/CD. And next goes to Adrian.
Thank you, Samantha. So now I'm gonna speak about the overall process of the system. So we designed the system on a microservices architecture where we will have two servers, one dedicated to the authorization of the user, and the other one, once authenticated, the movies microservice. Firstly, we have the front-end built with Nuxtem view, where authenticated users have more possible interactions with the website than the non-authenticated ones. The non-authenticated users will only see the movies and the movie details. Meanwhile, authenticated users have access to statistics and the option to add movies to their favorite list. From the front end, it makes requests to the three different servers. For the movies, it calls the MovieDB API. For the authorization part, it will call the authorization microservice. And for adding movies to favorites, it will call the movies microservice. In the backend, this microservices handles the request from the API, building the token for the authorization, and storing the necessary data in the database, Cosmos DB, which is hosted in Azure. In the database is stored the user data in one collection and the user's favorite movies in another collection. We decided to choose Vue and Nuxt.js because it helps the developer to get a good idea about the overall structure of the project from the start due to good files and folders structure in the starting template. And this way, the implementation goes pretty straightforward. In Nuxt.js, the pages are pre-rendered, which means the HTML code is generated for each page in advance. And this was useful since we didn't have to start working on the design of the page from scratch, and we were able to focus more on the functionality. For the front page design, we decided to make a list with the latest movies. And if the user wants to see the movies depending on different criteria, it is possible to make an account and then log in. And here in the front page, the navbar has two buttons for login and register. And if the user clicks on them, he will see these pop-ups where he can write the email and password to register first and then log in. After the user is registered in the system, the design will change and there will be multiple options for the user on the navbar for different types of movie statistics. We also tried to implement the top actor movies pages, but due to some deployment issues, that took a lot of time and we didn't have time to implement this too. When the user will click on any of these three pages to show more statistics, the page will be refreshed and the client can see the movie list organized depending on what he wants to see. And for the search functionality, the user can just search for any movie name or person name, and the list with potential options will be displayed. For the movie statistics, where we can see more details about one movie, besides the general statistics about it, we decided to show here the rating with the total number of votes, all types of directors that were involved for making this particular movie, and the first 10 most important actors from the entire list of actors. And here the user also has the possibility to add this specific movie to the favorite movie list. Now my colleague Javi will show you how the site works.
So here we have the final result. For the first instance, we're welcome with the main page, and for non-users, we still have access to the movie website. We can see the movies that are now streaming, either in cinemas and platforms. And for the display, we could see the average rating here in the top. And as we hover, we can see a bit of the overview of the movie, as well as the title and the release date. We could see more details. As we press the button, we can see the duration, the revenue, and more information about actors and directors. We could go back, and also we can use the search function. as we can see, old movies and old TV shows and even movies that are still not released yet. Being cleared, and we should test the register and the login. For register, let's create a new account. Let's call it video test at viauc.k test 34. Check that we get a 200 status. That means that we have it. And for the login, let's put the new credentials. Test at viauc.k test 1234. And here, if it has been successful, we're gonna get the token. This token will grant us access as a user, as an authenticated user through the website. So now that we have logged in, you can see the navbar has been updated with new statistics and the options to see favorites. So in popular movies, we're gonna see the popular movies nowadays, usually the ones that are in the cinemas. And also top rated movies from all time. For example, let's add a new movie. Let's go to popular ones. Let's add Chipande. Move it to favorites. Now that we have added that movie, it will be updated on this page. Let's check the top genre movies. Here we can select a genre, and it will show us the top movies from that genre. Let's check comedy. Here we'll have all the top comedy movies from this genre. So that will be the website, all the functionality. As we log out, we will lose the access to the statistics, and we won't be able to add movies to our favorites. We will still have to log in again, and we'll have access again. Thank you for watching.